your language today, you've said it's not impossible that we could get to the 5 for mystery cases, saying that we may very well get to the number of daily cases required by mid-October. Is it fair to say it's pretty unlikely, though?
I never know what tomorrow will bring. You know, we can get to a point where there are significant numbers of cases every day, and it drops off dramatically because they're all being chased up. Those other close contacts have been contained, and then you suddenly see a decrease in numbers. So, you know, I really can't say what.
Melburnians prepare, though, that October 19 mightn't be the day that we see things
change?
Yeah,
we all have to be prepared for whatever may come, and it's not easy. No question. As I say, I watch these numbers as closely as anyone in the state, and we all want to get to a point where we're satisfied that we know we'll go to the next step, but absolutely no one wants us to fail in this space, me more than anyone. So we just have to bear that in mind, and we have to take that next step at an appropriate time when it's safe and when it's steady.
Is it possible that, looking at the testing numbers today, 9,200, that today is spike day? I know that's hopeful, but is it possible that it's just spike day is now Tuesday?
Look, it may be. Look, there are more tests that are done early on in the week, no question, and we do tend to get increased numbers on the Wednesday, but we'll see. We just want lots of people to test because we'll find those cases and we'll manage them.
On the man that travelled to Kilmore, Brett, some experts and epidemiologists saying with the numbers low, we can move to this approach of asking contacts of contacts to isolate just out of a precaution. It sounds like that would have applied to this man that travelled. Is that right? He was the contact of someone who was already linked to the cluster. Is that right?
You still have to identify, test, get that result back, that original contact, but we are looking at managing contacts of contacts as well, or at least contacts of suspected cases. So not waiting for a positive result to come through. If a contact is symptomatic, to ask their close contacts to also quarantine. It's not really quarantine, but to ask them to stay away from others, to effectively isolate, even if that result hasn't come back.
Why are we not doing that already? Because that seems like a much more targeted approach than a big lockdown for everyone.
Yeah, we do it in lots of settings. We do it in a number of outbreak settings where effectively asking everyone who's been in casual or close contact in those settings to quarantine. So we're looking into it. There are implications about how you write it into law, whether that's a proportionate measure, but we're absolutely working it up.
This cluster is 28, and then there's some extra ones in Kilmore. I suppose Victorians look at what happened at the Crossroads Hotel in New South Wales, and there was hundreds of people in a pub, and I don't think they even got to 28, and we've managed from one butcher in Chadstone to get to 28. How can Victorians have confidence that the government is playing its part, that we're going to keep outbreaks down?
Well, I've just spoken to you about the really challenging complexities of the second wave. There's no country in the world that has gone through a second wave of this size as successfully as Victoria has. Nobody wanted to be here, nobody wanted to go through a second wave, but we are at a point now where we could snuff this out. But the challenges with each and every case, with each and every network of those close contacts is enormous. I cannot emphasise it enough. And we are doing everything in this space to manage that. But it is not a Crossroads prospectively following close contacts in the same way. If we had a Crossroads, I'm sure we'd manage it in much the same way, if not exactly the same way as New South Wales.